topic of the discussion and hit the issues you typically find reluctant. Remove the facade to fill the gap with some substance. We undermining problems, expecting to overcome it. Please hold the applause, we doing it for the cause. People follow culture before they follow the laws. We rather face the friction and not attempt it at all. Persistence will find solutions once our contentment dissolves. There's a hard pill to swallow for anyone breathing, both for folks who stay woke and those who be dreaming. We ain't slaves, yet we still ain't experienced freedom. What we need is the keys to access the kingdom. We're all in this fallen world trying to stay intact. I'm just a beggar pointing you out to where the bread is at. So follow the breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel. Thank Yogi Bear and the thought engineer for that on
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's on Man Talk Mondays. We are back once again, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be with y'all tonight. It's the man, thought engineer with my man, comedian John Yogi. How's it going, man?
What it do, sir? I'm ready. I'm ready. D, I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready,
I
man.
hope they ready. I hope the people ready. I want the people to be ready tonight.
They
We got
ready.
a good one tonight. We want to hear from everybody. I don't know how people feel. But I got to let everybody know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Man Talk Mondays. It's an open forum where we talk about everything from religion to politics to relationships. But of course, we're doing it from a man's perspective. We let you know how men feel about these things, right? Now, this is not just for men. We want everybody to participate, listen in. Men, women, boys, and girls, you're all welcome. Now, you are part of the conversation. How you participate in the conversation? You simply go in and you drop a comment or a question in the comments, and we can see it, right? So we want to hear from you. We want your thoughts. We want your opinions on the topic. And this is a dialogue between all of us. So let's have a good conversation tonight, right? We won't prolong the time. Ladies and gentlemen, Man Talk Monday News.
This is your man, John. Okay. This is your man, John D. Blackman, with today's top story. Listen, put your honey-do list up because I ain't doing nothing because it's the holidays. Listen, every weekend, my wife had me ripping and ripping. Doing this up and down the Home Depot, up and down to Lowe's. I ain't putting nothing together. I ain't doing nothing because it's the holidays. Listen, I'm not running to the store to pick up nothing. I ain't sweeping. I ain't washing no dishes. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't doing no little pet projects you been wanting to do because it's the holidays and I ain't doing nothing. What you need to do is get on the phone with Big K, Big J, Big Judge, Big Ricky, and Big Bobby and go pick me up 2 pounds of ribs and a pound of beef with all the fixings. Because I'm going to be in my chair kicking back with something cold. This has been your man, John D. Blackman, and tonight's top story. I ain't doing nothing, man. Good evening and good night.
John got a little hung up there. John D. Blackman got a little hung up there for a minute. Had a little trouble. I feel him though. You want to rest on the holidays, not fulfill a honeydew list. That's for weekends. When you got a long weekend, you don't want to do.
Yes. Don't want to see those. Don't want to see them. Put them on the back. Move them to the next weekend.
Right. Right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a segment that we call "Man Talk About It." Right. Typically in this segment, we have you send a letter in, and we talk about a situation that you may have going on in the letter. But we can also talk about different things that's going on, and we just want to kind of just talk about it for a quick second, right? So this is Man Talk About It. Man Talk About It. First up, Man Talk About It. There's been another mass shooting happened in Miami. Another mass shooting happened in Miami. When is it gonna stop? When is it gonna end? Oh my goodness. It's mass shooting after mass shooting. So much to the point that people are they just kind of prepare themselves mentally to just have this kind of stuff going on. What you think about it, man?
Well, you can't really go out now and even enjoy a concert, man, because you're constantly worried about any mass gatherings. You're constantly worried about what could happen. What's gonna happen now when the snare drum hits too loud? I think it might be somebody shooting, so I'm ducking. It's the craziest thing, man. We're going the wrong way on gun control. We might need to be going the other way with this thing. That's just me.
I think the problem is gun control, need people control, but that's all another thing.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to have to agree with you, sir.
And we're sure that many of you have heard about, because it's controversial, it's all over the news, Texas's new abortion bill. Texas passed a bill that says once there's a heartbeat, you cannot abort. Once there's a heartbeat, you cannot abort. This is the strictest abortion law that's been passed to date. So Texas is making history with this whole new thing. What you think about it, man?
Unfortunately, Texas is always making history for something that is frowned upon. Listen, it's enough stuff we could be talking about and making bills on rather than something that we probably shouldn't be messing with. You don't want to. I think you're going to open a Pandora's box to something that's going to be really, really difficult to close, man. Texas, we got way more we can be dealing with than this, really. I mean, this is too much, man. This is too much. They act like they wasn't around the last year or so of the last year or so.
Yeah, and at the same time they pass these abortion bills, they pass a strict voters' rights bill and the whole line. So it's just, I don't know, man. We just all over the place with all of this new stuff that we putting out here. And speaking of new stuff, I guess it's not new. It's probably old. Pastor John Gray is still going through. His brother is still going through. I don't know if they still finding stuff from the last incident or if he getting into new stuff. But I guess the last one was in 2020. But there's still stuff coming out about that one, or either there's a new one that's happening.
John, Pastor, what you want me to call you? Freaky J. What you? I don't know. What we doing? Just because my in my opinion, it's kind of skewed, and it's not really as much skewed as sometimes when you don't pay what you need to pay on the front end, that thing lingers into the back part. And if the toll hadn't been completely paid at the front, where everybody involved feel like there's retribution, man, that thing can drag on. And I think these are some of the things because there was no toll paid at the front of it. There was an apology, but that was it. But there was no toll paid on it.
Now, when you mean a toll, you mean to his wife or to the women that he?
Well, I think to the women involved, and because of who he is, you owe. If I'm tithing to you, if I'm a member of your church, you owe me an apology as well. Now, you don't owe me none personally, but I think if I'm following you and you're having Hey, I need you to do with me what you would want me to do with you. We always say, hey, we gotta confess our sins to one another. Well, I need to get in front of me and say, hey man, I this bread, I don't know what to do with it. I need something.
Do you think it's enough accountability for guys in high positions when they have infidelities like this?
No, I don't. I think they don't pay a price for it. I think they don't. I think the bigger you are, the more hefty of a price you should pay. And and so I have to watch how big I get. So I try to make sure I stay kind of around here, because when you get here, there should be a bigger price to pay, man. There should be, because people are America. We skewed as a people anyway, and we make everybody heroes. And you probably was somebody's hero.
Yeah. I don't think we have good qualifications for heroes, though, because most of it is just based on talent. How many character heroes do we have in this country? I mean, like character heroes.
What is that? You can't even put that in the section of heroes. That's in the back of the book, the character people. Seriously, because that's not why we follow you. We follow you because how you sing, how you run, how you pass, how you preach, and how you slay me when I'm in the church and I'm down on the floor shaking and blah 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 blah, blah all that. That's what you're judged by.
Yeah, because I would say that most people wouldn't really want to know. I mean, really want to know their favorite hero or whatever. Because you take Dr. Martin Luther King. Now people raking him over the coals because of the infidelity he had. Forget the civil rights, forget the march, forget giving your life for cause.
I guess with that being said, they are still men. They are still men. And I think as long as we're not, maybe I'm contradicting myself, as long as we don't put them on too high of a pedestal and they're not gods to us, then I think that's where we get in trouble. Because now you want to use this man to raise your kids, and that's not what he's supposed to be doing.
You got a point. I remember Charles Barkley saying a long time ago, "I am not your role model."
No,
he said that
because he understood that you follow me just because I'm on the basketball. What I can do with a basketball.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And for those of you who maybe didn't know, it kind of goes with what we're talking about tonight. So we want to know. Don't forget, this is a conversation between all of us. We want to know, does cheating kill relationships? What you think?
Well, I don't think cheating kills relationships. I think there are some things that are done way before the cheating actually takes place that actually work to kill the relationship. And I believe that cheating is just a bipartisan of the. I don't even know if they go there. I just
byproduct.
Byproduct. See, that's why the thought isn't here. It's a byproduct of some of the things that have went on in the past. Example: if you are talking about your relationship and what is going on in your house, and it's an open book to everybody, then you probably will be divorced. As a matter of fact, you probably should get divorced at that time, because something is going to happen to where you are going to feel away because everybody knows what's going on in your house, and that be husband or wife. Because we a lot of times we're not smart enough to understand who we can share that kind of information with and who we can't. And again, it doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have, because relationships go through stretches. And if it's a stretch where you guys say aren't sleeping together at this particular time, whether you telling other people, all they have to do is mention it to the other person. Yeah, girl, I heard y'all some tell me y'all not sleeping together, or they said to him, or vice versa. I just think it's an easy way for things to explode and get worse. I think the relationship is doomed at that point.
I think you got a point. If you're gonna talk about the issues that you have in your marriage or your relationship, you want to find somebody that you trust who can be, what's the word I'm looking for? Impartial.
Yes.
Who's looking at it, you know what I'm saying, from a standpoint of I'm trying to see what's really going on here and not just somebody that's gonna take your side. Monique says some people don't need a reason to cheat. They just cheat.
But,
Realist says no, that part. All right, so to Monique's point, some people don't need a reason to cheat. They just cheat. You believe that?
but we're not trying to give people we're not listening to, let me say this. We are not trying to give people a reason to cheat. I'm not saying because y'all tell everybody y'all business, that's the reason you cheat. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm not here to give anybody an excuse to do anything like that. Everybody does what they want to do. You have to, our life is a sum of choices and decisions that we make. That is just one you make. Don't you be talking about Man Talk Monday and said that when you don't feel good with your spouse, you can go out and cheat. Because that is not what we said.
Right. And we ain't Jesus, so don't mess up what we say that way. All right. Monique says, yes, you have to be careful about oversharing. You absolutely have to be careful about oversharing because you create an incident where if by some chance you decide that you're going to work it out with that person, now you got to work it out in the midst of creating this air between that person that you with and the people that you told. And now you got to work to manage that whole situation and keep your, not pride, reputation. I'm trying to see what's the word. You're trying to keep it intact.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what Jeffrey says. Yes, it does. If you cheat on me, then you don't respect me. On top of that, that adulterous action leads to a child. Then the husband is the automatic legal father. And that sucks. Because now you have a reminder of that cheating. Let me say this. I was listening to, there's this renowned relationship expert. She's a psychologist, Esther Perel. And she said previously, people used to, fidelity was so important because I needed to know who should inherit my stuff. I don't want to give my stuff to the wrong kid. So I needed to know that people was faithful so things passed to the right people. Now we just all over the place with it. And I get Jeffrey's point. That's a hurtful thing. And how do you stay? Because if the cheating leads to a whole nother person, how do you stay after that? There have been people that have stayed. Just how do you do it? So Rila says when people cheat, 9 times out of 10, there is a reason. Yolanda says, I think cheating destroys trust. Trust is the only one part of the relationship.
Yeah, but did you was the trust the way it was supposed to be anyway? I think that kind of trust is an assumed trust. I'm just going. We're not going to really talk about it, but I'm just going to assume.
Assume trust. I want to. What you gotta give me something on there. What's assumed?
Okay, because you are trusting the person that you with, that they are not going to do anything to harm you or to hurt you intentionally. But those things are generally not talked about. Those aren't talked about when we get into a relationship. They are assumed, and because they are assumed. When they come up, now, oh my God, I thought you knew, I thought you was gonna treat me better, I thought you were gonna do this when it was never discussed. It was and I'm not talking about the cheating aspect of it because I feel like that's a given, or is it a given? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Help me out. But that's basically what I'm saying.
Laura says, by the time you find out they are cheating, it's the beforehand situations, the length of the cheating, etc. Then those detective instincts start kicking in, and you question everything from then on. I was listening to something today, and Steve Harvey said this: if you go looking for something, you're gonna find it.
What? Yes, let me say this about your detective skills. See, that's what's wrong with you. Why you detective and then you need to be doing something toward loving and then that husband of yours. It's other things you can do besides snooping. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Let me just get this out the way right now. If you act like you shocked that they cheating, then something wrong with you. Everybody gives signs, but we don't pay attention to them because we got the rose-colored glasses on. He doing something different. She doing something different. She holding out. You holding out. Something is different, and you know it, and we immediately dismiss it. I'm not trying to give nobody no excuses, but we got to stop being stupid in it. The signs are there. I said it. I said it.
So going back to the rose-colored glasses. Rose-colored glasses is a failure to address the reality of what's going on. That's really what the rose-colored, and also it is a false sense of expectations. And once reality and expectations are not matched, you setting yourself up for failure anyway.
Laura said, only snooping after I found out he does cheating. It's too late now. You what you snooping for now? What you snooping for? You done found out it's a dead body on the couch. What you snooping for?
You know what I'm saying? If you find out it's not snooping anymore, snooping means there's a suspicion, right?
There you go.
The whole lipstick on the collar situation, there's suspicion. Yes. Then you snoop. But if you know they see there's no more snooping, you just finding evidence to what you already knew.
Okay, let's deal with the word snoop, okay?
Okay.
Snoop, not the rapper. Snooping happens generally when I'm curious or some things have been off. But we would rather snoop around to try to figure out what's going on than just going to him and say, hey, man, hey, what's going on? What you doing? What's wrong? I know she hadn't been touching on me. I know it's when we used to sleep, you used to be breathing on my neck. You ain't really doing that no more. You got your back to me. I notice you don't call me. We're not texting. We're not communicating. Because everybody notices when there is a disconnect in a relationship. Everybody know that. Everybody knows it. But we ignore it because we think things are just going to get better. Things just don't get better. It has to be on purpose. You didn't get to where you are by things just being willy-nilly. Why do you think they're going to get better? I'm just curious. Because if you're not talking to him, you're talking to somebody and vice versa.
So Monique says you look for things just to be sure it's true. But here's the problem. Monique and Laura. She said, no, Laura says never too late when there's lots to lose. When you are looking, you're not looking with objective eyes. You're looking with suspicious eyes. So even if there's something that is really not cheating or something really not going on, you're going to always look at it as if it's something because you're being motivated by something else completely. So it's not just, I'm just trying to check and see what other evidence is there. Nah, you looking for ammo. That's what you looking for. You about to unload your clip on this brother. As soon as he get back in your presence and you want all the ammo you can get. So that's what you loading up for. You loading up with ammo.
And one of the things, the disconnect between men and women is women, when they cheat, women don't just cheat. They have to be gone mentally first. Before the head have to be gone before the boot tag will follow. Men, we're not like that. We're not like that. You have to have a woman's head before the rest of us gonna come with her.
That's all I'm wondering. Is that still a situation though? So Monique says many times you've asked and the partner has denied it. Okay. So if you gotta ask, then there's some deeper questions that gotta be asked.
There you go. There you go. She said many times.
Many times.
Many times. Now, and I'm thinking this, Monique. So let's deal with Monique because she's a frequent flyer on Man Talk Monday. So if you are asking him frequently, more than twice, hey, are you cheating? Nah, man, I'm good. Hey, hell, you cheating? No, I'm good. Well, now then it gets to what the signs are all pointing that you are cheating because me and you not feeling each other. Like, I can tell you're not really feeling me no more. There are signs, and all you have to start doing to him or her is point out what the signs are and say, so am I just crazy? Nothing's going on. Am I just crazy? Because again, I just don't think we don't talk enough anyway. If I'm not doing something or you're not doing something, somebody needs to say something before it gets to this point. Because there is always a start to everything. Yeah. Listen, we play a role in cheating one way or another. Oh yeah, I said that, and I meant it.
Laura says, let's be honest. We have some great pretenders, and sometimes the signs are really not there. But at a certain age, you just let it go and move on. Nothing is worth destroying your mental health. I get what you're saying. You got great pretenders. Here's the thing, though. People that start off doing stuff suspicious, if they keep getting away with it, they get careless because they get too relaxed. And that's with anything. If you driving and you speeding down the road and the police don't say nothing to you, you're going to eventually get to the point where you get comfortable speeding until he flip them lights on and say, hey, hold up. Now you're taking advantage of the situation. I let you go the first few times. So that's with anything. People get comfortable after a certain amount of time. This is where it typically falls apart for the cheater. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is when you start finding stuff, or you become aware of stuff, or maybe the stuff has been there, and for some reason you weren't paying attention. Why weren't we paying attention to the signs? So Monique says, how do we play a role in cheating? Can you be more specific? I think she's talking to you, sir. You said it.
Well, Monique, okay, you asked how could you play a role in cheating? Again, once you realize or understand things aren't going the way they were going when you guys first met, now you have a responsibility because you've noticed them to be more involved in, hey, what's going on? Because again, that thing just don't get better by itself. And if you just ignore it or say, oh, well, maybe it's me, and having suspicions is not enough. You have to be actively involved in your relationships, probably more than you feel like a lot of times, to make sure that thing is going correctly. And when we're passive about it, generally that's when someone else kind of comes in, because either he's talking to somebody and somebody else, generally somebody's in his ear about what you're doing or what you're not doing. And you have to be, nobody should ever be in a man's ear more than his woman. More than his woman.
Did you get what you need, Monique?
Because we'll be here all night.
So, when it comes to cheating, is there more shame in staying rather than getting divorced? Is it more shameful to stay with somebody who's cheating than to go ahead and get divorced?
Okay, this is a variable, A and B. Okay. A says you a celebrity. I can get this money. I don't have to swallow my pride. I can be paid well, and I can be good. Ain't no shame in that. Because every time you see me afterwards, I'm gonna have the big shades on. I'm gonna be in the drop top, and things gonna be lovely. But then when you're not that guy, it gets a little bit more difficult. Because you really love him. You really do. You really love him and you want this to work. But have I put everybody in our business, number one? Because think about it, most of the time infidelity is going on, it's only between the man and the wife and the other woman involved. It don't really have to be all over the place. Everybody don't have to be in that. But when we make the mistake of putting other people in it, now it gets more and more difficult for us to hold our head up, because they're like, girl, I don't know how she doing. She just keep a straight face. Or he with the kid, he been working, driving these trucks, and while she been home, she was having this truck stop at the house. I don't know how he do it. I don't know how he do it. And because everybody's hit you with this. If it was me, This is what I would be. Oh, they wouldn't be doing me like that. If I was
Right.
this, I was up in there. Dude, listen,
Right.
everybody's gonna give you the if it was me. Or if it was me, I'm shooting up the whole time. And I'm not saying that's what we do, but I'm
Right.
saying people will often give you unreasonable solutions to how it will be in their life, and they can't keep a man.
Or keep a man happy. Or if we're gonna say just keep a man, keep your spouse.
Keep your spouse.
happy.
Yes.
Laura says, not if you don't care what people think about you. And that's the whole, it's a special person that does not care what other people think. Now, you may not care what the general public think.
Yes.
But it's somebody that you care about what they think. Whether it's mom, dad, cousin, somebody you care what they think. You just want to hope that the person who really cares is a reasonable person. And that's what I said, talking to somebody that can be objective. Because you in a situation like that, it's emotionally charged. You're not being objective about the whole thing. And I'm not saying give the cheater an excuse. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, how do we get to the bottom of what happened? Hit. Oh, okay. So Monique says hit with the Gomer story. Now, the Gomer story, that's for people who don't know, this is a biblical reference. The prophet Hosea, God led him to marry this woman who was real loose. Her name was Gomer, to the point that he had to go several times to get her from other men's houses. And it was a whole big mess, but God was trying to illustrate a point of how people do him, how his chosen people were doing him. They were prostituting themselves to other people, and he was the only one that really cared for them and really was there for them. So, which goes back to, why do we do the person? But that's a whole nother show. Go ahead.
But first of all, I want to appreciate Monique trying to narrate this show. You don't be telling us which way to go on this thing. You don't need to tell us where to go. Don't you be on here talking about hitting with the toe. Unless you was in our production meeting, don't you be in here talking about hitting with the toe. Now, with that being said, it was a specific reason why God chose that particular guy to do that with. It was a particular reason why, because he wasn't the type of dude that was going to act a fool and that was going to have his pride in front of him. Your pride got to be in a certain place for you to be able to do that. I think it's okay to pull out Bible references, but remember, out of every person, there was a million more people that wouldn't do that he couldn't use to do that. And so it's okay to pull those things, but most people not like that. Now, I'm not saying that some people aren't, but most people aren't like that.
So there used to be a time where being a divorcee at a certain time, that was shameful. And now it seems like, because we live in this culture of, I have to be happy at all costs. Yolanda said, don't blame Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie is just the man. He's doing the best he can. All right. But we gotta understand, people now are seeking happiness.
Yeah.
I gotta do what I have to do to be happy. And we rather be happy than stick it out. So in the quest to go find your happiness, then you will go and just mess up what you vowed to stick to.
And the crazy thing about that is, man, we listen to heart instead of a time situation, because you know what you should do, and you know where you probably should be. But most of the time, we listen to our hearts, and our hearts are fickle. You know, the heart don't really know what it wants from time to time. You know, so I think a lot of that could be avoided if we use more wisdom in what we were doing, and say, hey man, it's not really worth this, or what, you know, or it's not really worth what the consequence is going to be for it.
Yeah. So Laura says, if you have been openly bragging about how good your man or woman is, then you find out there is cheating, you may be a little embarrassed if you stay. We know people start the "it wouldn't be me" syndrome.
Yes.
And that's when you start bragging and stuff like that, girl, I got a good man. I know my man, and dudes do it too,
Yeah,
bro. My
absolutely.
woman, boy, and it's all coming from selfishness.
Mm.
It ain't about that person; it's about you, because we all want what other people feel like they can't get or don't have access to, and that's really what it is. Because think about it, infidelity. When you get married, the person is, it's all about me. I'm the person that they chose. But once infidelity comes in, then you find out that where I was supposed to be the one, that I'm not the only one. And that's a blow to the ego.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We all want to be the one. And truth of the matter is, the only way you are the one is the person makes you the one. It's nothing special about you personally. It's a decision in the other person's mind that says, I am going to make this person the one and only. Otherwise, you're going to be questioning yourself.
Yeah, you just gonna be the one I'm with right now.
Right. So can trust be rebuilt after infidelity?
Absolutely, it can. Absolutely, it can. But it takes work. It takes work on again. It takes work on both parts. Now, and I'm not saying that the person that cheated don't deserve majority of the blame, because they do. But I think it's going to take both of them. If he's going to stay or she's going to stay, man, it's going to take some work on both of y'all head, because the trust has to be the trust has to be built back up. You know, you knocked the wall down. So it has to be built back up brick by brick. And I think it's not going to be over a day. It's going to be something that happens over time, because the act of cheating did not happen in one day. It was established brick by brick, just like that thing has to be rebuilt.
See, y'all let us know. How would you go about repairing or rebuilding your relationship, your marriage after infidelity?
Would you want to?
Would you want to? Cheryl says, you don't know how you would handle anything until it happens to you. People always say, if I coulda, woulda, shoulda, until the pressure is on. She is absolutely right.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson. Everybody got a plan till they get hit in the mouth. But I think that's the part. They say you will go through several marriages in your lifetime. And many times it's with the same person. Because you had this marriage, it was just you and this person. It was y'all two, y'all were in love, that's all you knew. Then you find out that this person was unfaithful. Now, that marriage is done. But it doesn't mean that the marriage has to end. It just means that that marriage is done. The honeymoon marriage, my person can't do no wrong, that marriage is done. But how do you get to the second marriage of we are still together in spite of, or we learn how to overcome XYZ? How do you get to that marriage? Y'all tell me, how do you get to that marriage? I think you can rebuild. Now the problem is, I say this all the time. When somebody says can't, the word can't means that there is a line that I've drawn that I'm not willing to cross. It's a matter of your will. You have already drawn a line in the sand as to what you will not do. And typically that's what's going to be related to pride. Mm-hmm. And you talking, nothing challenges your pride like relationships, period.
Boy, because as soon as you say what you want to do, I'm telling you, boy. Yeah. When you said it, I was like, ooh, boy, don't nothing test you like being in a relationship with somebody. Don't nothing test you, because they 3 steps past what you said you was gonna put up with anyway.
Right.
Right. This is I can't take no more. And he get over, and she get over there and start kiss on your ear, breathing on you. They like, again, I told you I wasn't gonna keep doing this with you, but now here you are back again.
Mika says, I think trust can be rebuilt, but it takes 2, and pride is going to have to be put in check. Absolutely. Put in check. I think it's going to have to be tossed out the window.
Well, but so okay, so how do you do it? Do you talk about it? Is it he got to confess and tell you everything that what happened, or she got to what has to happen?
All right, let me get Monique's
Okay.
comment, and then I'll get to that. So Monique says the person would have to be totally honest about everything that happened in the cheating season. Afterwards, I believe intentional communication and work on both sides would start. Don't forget about forgiveness. She has a point. I tell people, me and my wife, we counsel young couples when going into a marriage. I tell them, if you do not have the capacity to forgive, you do not need to get married. Don't even try it. If you can't forgive nobody, don't even take this on. You are setting yourself up for failure. Yolanda said, can I cheat back first? Listen, because you just inviting more drama into the relationship. Because here's the thing. Hester Perel said this. Esther Perel says, she says, avoid asking questions that inflict more pain. That means asking, was she better than me? Asking questions about the other person. Do they do it like I do? Do they do it better than I do? She said, avoid asking those questions, but rather ask investigative questions. What is it about this that made you feel so fulfilled? What was it about this infidelity that, what were you missing? What do you feel like you were missing that led you to this? She said, ask investigative questions like that rather than questions that only just add to the pain. So don't be asking, is she prettier than me?
Yes.
Hotter than me?
Yes.
We don't want to know. You don't want to know all that.
You don't want to know that, because if we tell you the truth, you can be throwing our stuff outside.
Hey, and men don't want to know is she bringing it more than we don't want to know. We don't need all this stuff out. We don't need all it in our vernacular.
No. Hey man, let me tell you something, boy. You are on to something, because that's the stuff that stay in your head. Long after they've answered it, you are pondering on that. Long after they've answered it. After that. So you are definitely on to something, sir. You are on to something.
So Cheryl says rebuilding trust can happen when both parties agrees to the healing process. Meaning, I'm not going to keep bringing this up because this is what I want, and you are the one I want. But on the flip side of this, the person who committed the infidelity has to acknowledge that this was not the thing that they should have done. They have to acknowledge this, because if they don't feel a certain way about it, you set yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
So they have to acknowledge that this is wrong. What I did was wrong. The whole thing was wrong. This has to be acknowledged by the person.
And Paula Young mentioned earlier, she said after her divorce, she had a wall up, and that's to be expected. That is to be expected. After you've been hurt, generally what we do is now we're ready for the next person that comes in. But after you begin to heal, then you can slowly let the wall down and start trusting again, and hopefully start loving again. But it's a process, just like everything else. I think don't rush the healing process for yourself, because it takes time. It takes time.
And typically rushing the healing process is really about the pride. I got to hurry up and get through this because I'm worried who's going to find out, how it's going to look to other people. So it's like I got to hurry up and cover it up before people notice. You got to be careful about that.
Can I just tell y'all something right quick? Most people think that people spend a lot of time worrying and talking about their relationship. And let me let you in on a little secret. They do spend time talking about you, but most people don't really care about your situation. Most people have so much going on in their own lives, y'all. We just don't want to be part of the rumor mill. And hey, everybody makes it from time to time. Hey, you listen, one day you'll be talking about somebody, next day you'll be talking to your name to be on it. But listen, for the most part, people don't really care about you and your relationship. They don't. We have so much going on in our own lives. We don't have time to, or shouldn't.
So Jamie Hardiman says, I imagine it would take reestablishing God as the center of the marriage and remembering our marital roles as husband and wife. So let me take this a step further, going back to what Jamie says, reestablishing God as the center. God is the highest point of accountability. That's why you got to reestablish God. He's the highest point of accountability. But if you don't really care about God, guess what? You gonna mess up.
Anyway, you got to have a
That's
center.
what I'm saying. God being at the center means that God, his opinion matters more than anybody else's. That's what being at the center means. Regardless of what happens, I got to make sure that my relationship with God stays intact. I can't violate him. And that's a whole nother thing. But if you haven't really formed a relationship with God to where you really, really care about him to the point to where his accountability, it trumps everybody else's, you in trouble. It's only a matter of time or the right situation where you're going to end up in a situation that you don't want to be in. All right. Pastor Sam says, okay, acknowledging the sin is the beginning of resuscitation, right? Resuscitation means you can bring that thing back to life, but the first part is I got to acknowledge the sin. All right, Jeffy says, I tried to fix it the first time because she was pregnant when I found out. That made me look pretty weak. No, she didn't stop cheating. It got to the point that I tried to leave, and in order to save her reputation, she tried to press abuse charges against me. And she was pregnant that time with another man's baby. All right, let me say this. It's clear. Here's the thing. And Jeffrey, I would love to know, how did you get into this situation to begin with? Because nothing about what I'm hearing right here says that this is a person that you should attach yourself to in the beginning. The problem with divorce is we don't do our checking on the front end. We get into marriage without really checking out the person that we're going to be with. This is why you do premarital counseling. This is why you don't rush into marriage, because once you in there, it's a heavier deal than you really understand. And if you're going to go into something that heavy, you got to make sure you holding on to the right person to go into it with.
And let me say this, man. Relationships are difficult. Oh my. Relationships are
just
difficult.
by itself.
Just by itself. And when you don't check out a person's MO, their methodology, if he used to be a ladies' man, like last week, and he saw you and he said, oh girl, that's it for me. I have seen the last woman I'll ever love. You're probably lying. If she was loose and enjoyed the company of men, different men, and she see you and she say, you know what? My eyes have been open. There will never be another. She probably lying. But again, you have to know a person's MO and things about them before you decide to take the relationship even further.
So Laura says, lots of people stick around through infidelity for fear of being alone. After a point, they say, forget it. I'd rather have somebody than nobody at all. It's kind of sad, but it happens. You're right. That does happen, but that's not always just the case. Listen, there are a lot of things you're going to have to work through in a marriage, in a relationship. And we look at cheating as the end all be all, but there's a whole lot of other stuff that goes along with that. And there have been people who have weathered the storm. Even famous people have weathered the storm.
I'm famous, man. I'm famous. I understand famous people. I'm famous. You can't listen when I gotta close off the grocery store before I can go to it. Okay, so I understand. Go ahead, Derek. Go ahead. Who we got? Who stayed? Who stayed?
Let's look at a few people who stayed. We got Will and Jada. Everybody, and see, here's the thing: your stuff ain't public like theirs.
What? Wait a minute. How many people?
Will and Jada.
D. How many people didn't see that red table talk and think he weak? How many people didn't say? How many people didn't say? How many people didn't say? Because I said it. I was like, dude, I don't know if I could have did that. You put me out across America, and he stayed. He stayed, and you know what? Because it didn't matter what you or I thought about it. All that matters is what they had and what they had been through. And dude, and at the end of the day, that's it.
Let me just put out this public service announcement. If you love somebody, you already run the risk of looking weak. Point blank, period. You sign up for it. You sign up for the potential of looking weak simply by loving somebody. So
you're right.
Buckle up.
And because I'm going to look a little weak, you might wake up choked out sometimes.
So all I know, I was washing dishes. Then I woke up on the couch. I don't know. Then we have Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle Union Wade. Dwayne Wade, we know, had an infidelity. He had a whole baby. So to Jeffrey's point, he had a whole baby on him. Jamie said, entanglement, Lord. Listen. It gets pretty crazy. But they are still together. They weathered the storm. Mm-hmm. Mika said, yes. I'm telling you, the minute you say you love somebody, you have now signed your name on a dotted line to go through. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. Pastor Sam said, please read the first 3 chapters of the book of Hosea. This is going back to Monique's reference early with Gomer. Hosea and Gomer. Go back and read that, and you will see just what love, what it means to go through in a relationship.
And for those of y'all that don't know, that was in the Bible that he was talking about. So go ahead, Dick.
Oh, yeah, it's in the Bible. Next, we have Kevin Hart and Iniko.
And hey, Kevin Hart was on the top of his game. He was on top of his game at the time.
But look at it. I looked at Kevin Hart's story. I can say, just from my opinion, he seemed very repentant. It's like he played a game that other people, famous people, were playing, but realized he wasn't cut out for it. Mm-hmm. Because once he hurt her, it hurt him. I'm just looking at documentaries I've seen on Kevin Hart. Oh, Magic and Cookie. Oh my God. You talk about, bro, that might be the ultimate stay together. Well, but you can't deal with nobody else after that. Ain't nobody else. I'm sorry. About that one. Magic Johnson contracted HIV during his infidelity. And he had his wife, Cookie. How many men go mess with Cookie after that?
Well, that's true. But not only that, you know what kind of love that is, though?
Oh, brother.
To stay?
Oh, brother. Oh, yeah. You gonna show me what you made of? Oh, you gonna see exactly what you made of in an instance like this.
That's true. Wow.
Everybody, of course, we know didn't make it. Everybody, of course, few people that didn't make it. We got Chris Rock and Maylock Compton Rock. Chris Rock's wife. They didn't make it.
Well, they didn't make it because Chris felt like that he could cheat because he was bringing in all the money. You probably not gonna make it. She gonna let you get away with that once, maybe twice. But the matter of disrespect that comes with that is completely crazy. You know what I'm saying?
So, Chris, and that's why I asked the question, do people really trust each other? Is it matter really, if I have all the power, do I need to trust you? Chris Rock felt like he had the power in their relationship because he made all the money. All right. Oh, Kobe and Vanessa.
Yeah.
So Jamie keep bringing up some good ones of people who stayed together. Kobe and Vanessa, right? To the tune of a $4 million ring, but that's another thing. $4 million for a ring, brother. All right. Mm-hmm. So who else we got? We got Gary Owens and Kenya Duke. Now, this is something people found about recent. They didn't stay together. Right? Matter of fact, her spousal support is how much a month?
400. Is it 444? It's something like that, ain't it? 400,000.
44 grand a month.
Yeah, a month.
Like 44 grand a month. 44 grand a month.
You got to get the nails done every day to be.
Ain't that much nails, hair?
their relationship was pretty public because she was black and he was white. Do you think it was more that she was embarrassed by being cheated on by him? Because their relationship was pretty public.
I think so. And when you look at 44 grand a month, listen, this is how you know when somebody is really fed up with you. When they don't want nothing from you. They won't have nothing to do with you.
Just take your stuff.
When they say, I don't want nothing, that's when you know ain't no coming back. Hey, listen, I have violated this person to the highest level.
Maybe that's just a matter of perspective, because when you ask me for $44,000 a month, you through with me. You ain't gonna have nothing else to do with me after we get out of that court. He said I gotta pay it. You better be hiding somewhere.
Well, I gotta say, a lot of times lawyers play into that too, because the person be like, you know what, I'm just done. I'm through. Lawyer say, you feel like that now, but when them bills start rolling in, child, you gonna want something. Yeah. So let me go ahead and just write this 44 grand in.
Should it cost you?
Yeah.
Should it cost you? Should it cost you?
Yeah. People don't learn the lesson unless it costs them.
Should it cost them $44,000 though?
Yeah, 44 grand a month.
How about
Robin Thicke and Paula Patton didn't make it, and let me tell you, that brother was sick.
That brother was real sick. He was real sick, D.
He was sick to the point of a whole album expressing how sick he was.
The album was called I'm Sorry. Please, I'm sorry.
When you make a whole album, brother, you know you hurt. But trying to play games because you see other people playing. See, you don't know what arrangements people have. You don't know what arrangements they have. So you go and try to play games other people playing, and you ain't built that way.
Well, but to that point though, D, you don't know the success. He didn't know success like that. He didn't know success like that. And success like that, it brought on stuff that I believe he wasn't ready for. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for that. He was not ready for that at all.
True.
Yeah.
True. Jeffrey said a bad album at that.
Hey man, he had 2 lyrics. Paul, I'm sorry, please come back. That was it. Please, Paul, I'm sorry, girl. Please, can you come back? That was it. That was the album.
That was it. All right. Final thoughts.
Okay, my final thoughts for tonight are: we're talking about this cheating. How does cheating? What does it do to work in a marriage? How does it work in a marriage? It's a terrible thing, but it happens because of lack of communication. We have to talk. A lot of times we don't like having uncomfortable conversations, but that's what marriage is all about. That's what if you're not getting what you need or what you thought it was supposed to be like, you have to talk to each other so that you guys can get on the same page. And if you get on the same page, even when you're thinking about it, talk to her or him about it. And so you guys can, listen, you guys can accomplish the world, but you can only do it together if y'all talking to each other. And you have to know that. You have to be on the same page with that in order for that to happen. And this has been my comment. Thank you. My final thoughts. Thanks, guys.
When it comes to relationships, when it comes to marriage, everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to feel good about what they're in. We miss the most important part of a marriage, especially, and that's commitment. We don't value commitment anymore. See, commitment doesn't care how you feel. It's the choice that you made that you're going to stick to. And here's the thing, when you make a decision to do something, this is when the decision is challenged. This is when you find out just how much it's going to cost to keep this commitment. But there's 2 things. You got commitment and you got contentment. Contentment is not a feeling that overtakes you and you feel satisfied. Contentment is a decision to be satisfied. If you running around chasing any and everything because you're waiting to feel contentment, you're going to always be chasing it. Contentment is a decision that says, I'm good. I may not have XYZ, but I'm good. And if you're not content, then you're gonna be everywhere. But commitment leads to content. Once you commit and you stick it out, now you can be content. But relationships take contentment, starting first with commitment. So if you make a commitment, that's a choice, but you gotta hold to that, because that's where character comes from. Sticking to your commitments. And that's our King Speak for this week. Another one in the books.
That was nice, brother. That was a good one. Now that was a good one. That was, yes, yeah. That was good. And we hope we help somebody. We help because again, talk, man, talk, learn about each other, talk to each other, fill each other out.
Don't forget, you can go check out our podcast.
Yeah.
Wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Google, host of others. We have a new episode up every week. If you ever want to go back and listen to previous episodes, you can go to our podcast and just check us out, right? Commitment leads to contentment. That's where it starts. Thank everybody for participating in the conversation. Everybody that watched. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends, your family about Man Talk Monday, right? Y'all like what we doing, right? Right. We love seeing y'all, hearing from y'all. So by all means, just share with somebody else so they can catch some of this good stuff too. All right. Well, we're here 7:00 Monday nights. We'll see you all next week. Peace out.
Y'all be blessed.